Coming at you from Scratch and Wolf Studio. It's that time again to rage across the internet. It's your very favorite Werewolf the Apocalypse podcast. I'm your host, Porter. Right across from me, it's the trusty sidekick of sidekicks, Mr. Daniel Tyson.
Hey, everybody.
Coming from the further reaches, he took the midnight train to Georgia, Mr. CJ.
Howdy-o.
And it's the story of a hurricane. It's Miss M.
Hey.
How's that for some mixed metaphors? What's going on here? All over the place today.
Rocking like a hurricane. All right.
It's not the point. So welcome to Rage Across the Internet. Welcome to Rage Across the Internet. If this is your first show, this is where we talk about all things Werewolf the Apocalypse from the storyteller and player perspective. If it is not your first show, you already knew that, so sorry for wasting your time.
But thanks anyway for being here.
Yeah, no, either way, we appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
So we have a show today.
Yeah.
And if you were here last week, you already know what this show is. So let's jump. I'm kidding. We're not jumping right to it.
No.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
I mean, yes, I can, but we've gotten a lot of good feedback on This Week in Bullshit.
Yeah, frankly, I love so much like that people have responded to it.
Yeah.
But that we do it at all. It might be my favorite thing that we do.
I agree. I do. I agree. Because, again, we already do it.
Yeah, right. But now it's like it puts a perimeter around it. Mm-hmm. Like we get to fuck around. It's like a compromise. We're going to fuck around for 30 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about whatever we want, change of pace, have some fun. You guys can join us for that journey. And then when it's over, it's not that a joke won't be made here and there, but it's time to be on the show.
More, yeah, we go a little bit more professional. And
whatever that looks like for us.
Exactly. I was going to say that. Whatever professional you want to look like, sure.
Bro, it's all this profession. What?
But we asked people, and shit, we ask all the time for feedback. And weirdly enough, This Week in Bullshit, we've gotten the most feedback on more than anything else. So,
well, it's funny you talk about feedback. Because this is not the thing I had prepared, but this Week in Bullshit. Something I wanted to touch down on. And I brought this up to CJ a couple days ago, I think it was, man. This idea of, might have been yesterday. The idea of this movie club.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think it was yesterday, day before.
Yeah, something. It was recently.
okay.
Yeah, sometime this week.
Yeah. It is time reverse, like when we recorded this week, not when you're hearing it this week.
Yeah.
We're not pre-planning a future conversation to talk about in past tense. I wouldn't put it past us, but
Hey-oh.
no, but this
That's
idea.
the kind of time for shenanigans we can get up to.
Oh, it absolutely is. Mm-hmm. But the thought process here was part of to integrate into the back rewards, maybe do some shuffling as to the rewards.
Okay.
It's all speculative at this point. But doing a Porter's Movie Club or something, which would kind of be like the polar opposite of Backer Night. To where instead of showing like some schlock that we can all like kind of MST3K and laugh at and have a good time, that it would be stuff of value or interest to actually watch and discuss and get a thing from.
Okay.
And I brought it up. It was something, I like there are things that I like to talk about that I very rarely get the chance to. It's like, I love our Wednesday hangout nights, which are open to everybody, but it can get pretty rowdy. So like if I'm looking to have a discussion about music or something, that's not going to be possible.
No, unfortunately not.
Sometimes it's hard just to say anything.
Right.
Yeah, there's too many people there. There's too many conversations at one time.
And it's not, I'm not complaining. It's just, that's not the venue to have like a discussion about a thing really, usually. Right. Because everyone's making snarky remarks and laughing and joking and having fun, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely a good thing.
But it's not that time for those, put the monocle in and put our pinkies up and I can't put people, let's discuss that. It's not the place for it. But
And you do love movies.
I do. I also love music, but a lot of people don't know that. I mean, they know I use it for Inspirato, but it's a different thing. But, so yeah, the idea of once a month maybe popping on a movie or a few episodes of a show or something, going over it, maybe talking about it a bit. But the question becomes, is there actually any value in that? And that's what I'm asking the world. So if you guys have thoughts on that, we'd love to hear about it. I would love to hear about it because it's just something I'm playing around with, and I'd like some feedback if you have some thoughts. I'm not sure there's value in it. I know I'd like to, but, it doesn't mean that other people would like that.
I can see.
Well, I'm not asking you. You're not a backer.
Touche. Fine. I'll leave it up to everyone else then.
You talk about that off here, you creep. He's gonna be like, I would rather kill myself than watch a movie with you, you piece of shit. We don't need that on air.
No.
And you edit, so I know you won't cut it out.
It's like, is this something that people are actually interested in, like a broader scale?
Right.
Or, if they're not, it could be something that you put on with a few of the people we like hanging out with.
Right. Like ultimately I could
just to become something official.
Right. I could just do that if I wanted to, but I'm asking.
Yeah.
So if you have a thought on the process on the matter, then please, put that up. I guess you can put it on our Facebook. I'll see that once a week. Fact.
Or you can head over to our Discord and actually talk to us.
That's true. And you can get the link to our Discord off of the forums of our website, which is RageAcrossTheInternet.com.
.com.
Close enough.
Hey. And if this is an idea that does get traction or you're interested in it, well, they got to become a backer first for that, right?
Look at that. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Middle of this week in bullshit. So we should have waited on it. But fuck it. Yes. Yes. And the way to do that is to check out our Ko-Fi. It's ko-fi.com/rageacrosstheinternet, one word. You can join us there and become a member. So we have 4 great tiers with some solid rewards. And, don't take it from me. We have 2 members here. CJM. Good value?
Yeah, fucking all great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've used a lot of the stuff for inspiration for my own games, especially the NPC and Postmortem.
It's like, and I like hanging out with everybody on movie nights and game nights.
Love to hear it.
Right. And of course, if you're not in a position to, donate, I mean, we know things are tough. Things are just unfairly expensive. Though our rates have not increased. Just want to point that out.
Hey.
Shit's evergreen. But if you're not in a place, we completely understand. That said, there are still ways you can help. High ratings, good reviews, whichever method of which you are listening to this show, there is assuredly a way to bolster it. Even word of mouth is a huge deal. But those 5 stars, those thumbs up, that helps with algorithms, which helps get us to more people, which just makes life better for everybody.
Everybody, absolutely.
So, please help us out. Danny needs your help desperately to keep his dog alive. Don't question this.
Not my puppy again.
Save Danny's puppy.
Oh.
Become a backer. He has fictiontosis. It's very serious, and don't look it up.
It's been fictionally possessed.
That is the ghost cat he has to deal with. And Meowsers is that a different issue? Thank you for
the most evil of ghost Fistettes.
Meow, get out. There are phantom poops showing up in boxes all over his home. We need a cat exorcist and a fictionectomy for the dog.
Fictionectomy.
Donate today, or you hate animals.
If you like puppies, make sure you donate. If you don't like puppies, man, I don't know what else.
Also donate.
Also donate.
And back to our regularly scheduled This Week in Bullshit.
Yeah.
So I actually have something kind of topical.
Holy shit. Topical this time, huh, Porter?
Like an ointment, or
Is there one for Danny?
No, there's not. Oh, no. That's why I'm leaving soon.
I think that's more of an operation.
So, make sure to donate to our Ko-Fi so I can get some hemorrhoid cream for the pain in my ass that's sitting across from me. Boom.
Nice.
So, as a change of pace, I've actually got something kind of topical to talk about here.
Okay.
I mean, I know we live in the Timeverse, but we also kind of pissed away our backlog. So it just so happens this is going to air the same month that we recorded.
Crazy.
And as of this recording, it is Comic-Con. And out of our wonderful Marvel booth, Marvel panel, it has been announced that Sir Robert Downey Jr. is returning to the MCU.
Which should sound
Nope.
awesome.
Nope.
Should.
As Doctor Doom.
Fuck off.
Which is just the laziest and most desperate thing I have heard in a while.
It sounds very desperate.
I'm not infuriated because I don't care.
Yeah, the
And that's all by itself is a problem because, I'm a pretty big comic guy. And I love Doctor Doom.
yeah, that's your favorite villain.
Arguably. He's in my top three.
Okay, I'll give it that.
Purple Man and Taskmaster.
Damn, good point.
However, this decision has given me spiders.
Dick spiders.
No.
Not yet.
No, I got
can
the
I
flag.
ask a couple questions?
By all means, Em.
Who's Doctor Doom, and why don't we want Robert Downey Jr. playing him?
Well, Doctor Doom is arguably the best villain in all of Marvel Comics. He is the ruler of Latveria, was college roommate to Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four. He is a master of both technology and sorcery, and is arguably the smartest character in the Marvel Universe.
Yes.
The exception, the possible being Reed Richards. The problem is Doom's arrogance defeats Doom more than anything.
I was going to say, usually the one who defeats Doom is Doom himself.
Right. He's I would argue, seriously, the biggest, arguably the biggest name they have in the villain arsenal.
Yes.
And if you need help, visualizing the character, if you've seen him before, it's the guy in, the all-metal armor, the metal face mask, and the green hood and cape.
I really don't want to say the first thing that popped into my head.
I think I appreciate that. I think a lot of people will appreciate that. I think you'll appreciate that too, seeing as you won't have to hear what other people have to say about whatever you have said.
Yeah.
Folks
I'll
love
let you
Dr.
guys
Doom.
know later
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean,
People love Doom.
yeah, you have large villain names like Thanos, like Apocalypse, like
Galactus.
Galactus. Thank you. But
Big villain, though.
but Doctor Doom is
Yeah. Very big villain.
yeah. I
Technomancer kind of guy.
yeah. I would put Doom just as high, if not higher, than most of those names.
Well, he's stolen the powers of most of those names. So
There you go.
Robert Downey Jr. played Tony Stark.
Right.
So he already can't be Doom because he's already Tony Stark. The implication that they're doing some sort of alternate world thing where, maybe Tony Stark becomes Doom in that reality, I think already kind of cheapens it because Doom is better than Tony Stark.
But there is a story where Tony Stark, an alternate reality story, where Tony Stark becomes a version of Doctor Doom. But this is apparently he is not Tony Stark. He is Victor Von Doom.
Well, and again, you could even make the argument, well, he changed his name. This is a stupid argument.
Yes.
And this is a terrible plan. And again, it's super desperate to get Robert Downey Jr. back on the screen to put asses in seats. Because
Yeah,
Marvel,
I think maybe they just like his face.
well, they just want to go. I mean, let's face it. Iron Man was a B-list character. Maybe C, frankly. But at best, Iron Man was a B-list hero. And that movie sailed the entire Marvel MCU ship based on Robert Downey Jr.'s likability.
Yes.
I mean, it was a good script too. Don't get me wrong, and the direction was good. John Favreau did it was a good movie.
They did well with it. Yes.
But everyone's like, Tony Stark is Iron Man. There were some similarities. Tony Stark is the smartest. He's the best. He's not either one of those.
No.
You just like Robert Downey Jr. a lot. And that's fine.
If you cast anybody else other than Robert Downey Jr., it probably would not have had the same impact.
Not initially.
No.
Though I've always been a proponent for recasting the Marvel Universe. And people will go, well, you can't do that. And I go,
Yes, you
it
can.
worked for James Bond for like 50 years. So longer.
Wait, they're making another Marvel movie?
Oh, this
They're
ship
making
ain't
a
stopping.
few.
Yeah.
Okay. No, the thing is, I've been packing for like the last 2 weeks.
No, that's fair. But I mean, they've got Fantastic Four in the work. They just announced 2 more at Comic-Con, but there were at least 2 already, I think, that were in production or certain levels of it. They're going to ruin the Fantastic Four.
Yep.
Yeah, I've not really been on the internet this month. I've just been like packing and moving things to the new place.
No, that's fair. And also, who isn't tired of the MCU at this point? Because again, they took the
Yeah.
most successful thing ever,
And
and
then ran
just-
it into the ground.
right? And they just have set fire to it ever since. And so I think this is
Yeah,
apt.
there's-
Yeah. I think you're right though. This just smells of desperation.
Right. Like they can't get him back. He won't come back to be Iron Man again. Just recast him. Recast him. Put Iron Man back on the screen. Just recast Tony Stark. You can fucking do it. People will be mad at first and they'll get over it, just like with every James Bond or every fucking Doctor Who. Okay? Stop it.
Good point.
This
It
is
can
true.
and will
They-
work.
You do get over it.
Yep. It's the initial shock. It wears off. I used to call it new doctor sickness.
It also drives people to watch though, because they want to like
Yeah, they want to be able
have
to
a
compare
problem
it.
with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then they can bitch about it too. Both of those things are valid. And you have literal decades upon decades of stories from these characters you can tell.
Yeah.
Or adapt. But neither here nor there. You know, the fact that they're going to ruin Doctor Doom in a cash grab to get Tony Stark, you know, to get Robert Downey Jr.'s face back on screen because he won't come back for Tony Stark, I'm assuming. Like he won't commit to it, right? But he'll come back for one to be Doctor Doom. It's just such a lazy, obvious, desperate fucking cash grab, and I'm irritated by it.
Yeah, it's rough, and it's difficult to see because
That's what she said.
Oh,
I
Jesus.
that was funny.
I need to go to the hospital just from the contact burn.
There was even an interview with Downey Jr. when Iron Man first came out, and seeing its wild success, and that's what spawned the rest of the greatness that MCU became before they ran it back into the ground. But Downey Jr. even went on record saying being Iron Man saved his life.
Oh, for sure.
That's crazy to see and crazy to think about because he had some issues.
Oh, yeah.
So being able to recognize that and seeing the success he got from it is awesome. I'm happy for him. He did well.
I'm not down on Downey Jr. That's not at all.
Right. But now he's become such a
Well, in the public zeitgeist, he's been so synonymous with the role.
right. And he was kind of the face of it for so long, and now again it's almost like it's a cash grab. And it's a desperation move. And it's sad to see. I hope it does well.
Yeah, it's almost like pulling Harrison Ford out of retirement for another Indiana Jones movie.
Well, here's the thing too, is because apparently Harrison Ford is in this movie coming up. And I don't know if it's this one with Downey Jr. or if it's the one before that.
He's the new Captain America.
He's Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because people know who Han Solo is. And
But
listen,
why can't you just let Harrison Ford just like live his retirement?
well, he needs. CJN actually talked about this in terms of Indiana Jones recently.
Yep.
Because I'm a big
Needs money to buy another plane.
Yeah, he crashes a lot of planes, and that's not cheap. I think he's actually the real life version of Launchpad McQuack. So that's Harrison Ford for you.
Points for you for knowing the pilot from Darkwing Duck was named Launchpad.
Oh, DuckTales, sir.
Well, and Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
Yes, but DuckTales was first.
Agree. Fine.
One could argue that Darkwing Duck was Launchpad's spin-off.
Touche.
You know what, buddy? Let's get dangerous. Is that what you want?
Nicely done again.
Blatherskite.
Nicely done again.
That's a third one. That's
Yes, it
Gizmo
was.
Duck, motherfucker.
Yeah, wow. Good point. I forgot the name of that one, but I recognized it.
What?
Launchpad. Oh, shit.
Also, I just saw the name for the Avengers movie where Doom's apparently showing up.
And it's probably
It's
going to
the
be like...
laziest name they could have picked.
Is it Doomsday?
It's Doomsday.
Not surprised. Not surprised
Classic.
at all. And
Classic naming.
I actually expected it, yeah. And I bet you he shows up like the end 30 seconds kind of thing.
Well, while we're on it,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, this is just proof that this is a lazy, desperate cash grab, is they announced it. Because if they had any respect for storytelling, I mean, they wouldn't do this. But, but you know, if they, let's assume, right, that this was a good idea to replace Victor Von Doom with just Robert Downey Jr., a character who no way, shape, or form resembles and is aggressively dumber and less talented than Doom.
Aggressively.
So we're nerfing Doctor Doom
Uh-huh.
on top of this. But I'm sorry, I'm not.
It's fine.
I'm not sorry.
I know you're not.
But like, you know, assuming this was a good idea and we're going to do this, wouldn't it be better to let that be revealed in the movie while you're watching it? Like, oh my God, they knocked his mask off and that's Robert Downey Jr. My mind is blown and people now will flock to the theater instead of feeling bad for Marvel.
Honestly, if it were made here, I would never have mentioned that, you know, hey, this is going to be the Doctor Doom movie sort of thing. And like, if you had to announce it, if you were going to announce Robert Downey Jr. was playing Doom, sure, because they're making a Fantastic Four movie, so you're expecting him to show up in that.
Which is
And
a bad
have, like,
idea,
what
too.
apocalyptic threat, but, you know, have it be like, what apocalyptic threat are the Avengers going to have to face for that reveal of, oh, it's been Doom the whole time, it's been in your face the entire fucking time. The movie's called Doomsday. And have that revealed. If you had to announce that, yeah, no, Robert Downey Jr. is playing this character.
Well, you know what they didn't
That
do?
could have been interesting.
You know what they didn't do for Doctor Strange 2? A movie that I stand by was a total waste of time. It served
Yeah.
nothing but to ruin the Scarlet Witch as a character
Yes.
and just take her off the board, because why would we want talented people to fucking be in the movies?
Didn't have to go through massive rewrites thanks to the changes to WandaVision.
Yes.
That's exactly what happened.
That's a different thing too.
Yeah.
But that movie was largely a waste of time. Though there was that scene with the Illuminati in the alternate universe.
Yep.
And you had this cast of characters that played that Illuminati. And I won't even say anything in case someone for some reason hasn't and wants to see it. But you know how many of those people were announced at Comic-Con?
0.
Exactly. And it was the only
Yeah.
good part of the fucking movie. Which was rendered pointless by being in an alternate reality in the first place.
Right.
However,
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah, you don't take that huge announcement that would probably get people to freak out and drive hype for the movie, and maybe you don't announce it a year and a half before the fucking movie comes out. Maybe that's the decision. Jesus Christ, do I have to do everything for you?
Oh, it's that far off.
Yep.
It's far.
Oh my.
Yeah.
You know what? Porter, I am curious. If you had to cast somebody for Doom in one of these upcoming movies, who would you cast?
Complete unknown. Mr. Complete Unknown. I'm a fan of that. I don't like big names in these roles because, number one, they come with big price tags in short contracts.
Yeah.
I like that you grabbed Tom Holland when he was 17 and locked him into a contract until he's 50.
Solid point. I mean, he's done fantastic with it.
Right. It's not even, for me, it's not even about making money. It's about making money for them. So that makes the smart decision financially. But it's about telling good stories and getting good people in those roles. Because again, how many billions of dollars did they hand Robert Downey Jr. to come back for an hour and a half to play Dr. Doom?
Oh, probably. They're probably still unloading all the cash on his front lawn.
Exactly. They have sent planes full of trucks full of money.
Yeah.
Right. There's a plane with like 12 Ryder trucks landing in his front yard right now to drop off cash.
It's still happening.
Yeah.
It's round trips, constant money.
And
Yeah. The Stark Tower is really.
So they're making a scale replica of it in his front yard.
Yeah.
It stacks 100.
Yeah,
It's just fucking.
It's Downey Jr. Tower in real life.
But it's also in the method of the delivery, I think, is the thing. You know, like I would have started planting those seeds.
Yeah.
Take notes, guys. Execs that aren't listening to the show, because who the fuck are we? take notes.
Somebody take notes.
Because what you do is you use Latveria, which, again, is the country that Dr. Doom is the monarch of.
Fictional country. Well, to some people.
Whoa, no way.
Okay, there are
Crazy.
people who believed Wakanda was real.
Yes, I know, but that's not the point or what we're talking
Wow, that's not real.
about. So what you do is you start with Latveria showing up in news reports peppered through the movies. Mm-hmm. You talk about peace talks breaking down with Atlantis and Wakanda, and how the UN delegate from Latveria, probably Lucia von Bardas, has negotiated peace talks. And you keep trumping up Latveria is this nation that no one really talked about because it's a little third worldy, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of, like the crime rate is like 0 there. That's crazy. Oh, look, they're helping. Yeah, they're negotiating with Wakanda. Oh, they're getting involved with Atlantis. Oh my God, this is great. Hey, they're helping with this. They're helping they're helping rewrite the Sokovia records or whatever from Age of Ultron, right? To unfuck that. Look, look at all this, the humanitarian work they're doing all over the country. And then you unveil their ruler, Victor Von Doom. And you even poke fun at it. You do here's a Conan O'Brien, as Conan. Like a couple clips of him making fun of the fact that the ruler of a country that's done all this humanitarian work's name is Doom.
Yep.
Like, oh, Jesus, that's a PR problem, right? No wonder. Right? And then, you have him interact, obviously. Right? You have him interact with the Avengers or with whatever. And he starts helping with the big MacGuffins. And he's found this, I think. And what you do is you line up to the Silver Surfer. As he is discovered, basically what turns out to be the Silver Surfer.
Mm-hmm.
This anomaly out in the cosmos, and it's getting closer, and we're worried about it, and he wants to build a thing to help discover it and help study it, and he needs vibranium. And he needs some Atlantean tech, and he needs some arc reactor tech from Stark, and he needs some of this important shit. And this all
Maybe even some unobtainium.
because of the yes. Even that adamantium, because now we got all them to play with. But right, and what does it do? It calls the server. Not that they know it. You don't even unveil that. The heroes don't learn that.
No.
Because your next big bad becomes Galactus.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah.
And while Galactus is here...
I was going to say, this is one of those post-credit scene reveals.
Yeah, right? But Galactus is your big bad. And so what your big reveal becomes that Doom, in the background during this time, captures the Silver Surfer. and goes to siphon his power, and he becomes the big bad for the next phase.
Phase.
Yeah.
Not just the next movie, the next
Right.
phase. That's
Right.
how you do this and have multiple movies and multiple contracts that you can see. Oh, you know.
Or you just announce Robert Downey Jr.
And
It's all about the CGI.
right. You put his skeleton in a silver mask, and
then you save it for one more movie to
Right.
make billions for the one movie that you had to spend billions on.
well, I don't know that you'll make billions on it, because I think this is going to backfire, because most of the feedback I've heard is that this is really sad and desperate.
Yes.
When it could have just been a good reveal, or again, you could just do a better job. Maybe that instead.
Yeah,
Instead of
like-
going on actor name to try to get butts and seats, just do a better job.
I think after, Infinity War and Endgame, they kind of can't catch that lightning in a bottle again.
No.
Maybe, maybe not, but they went a completely different direction with things, and it was a direction that largely irritated their audience.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what you want from me. You had a machine that made money, and then you went at it like that scene in Office Space. And it's a super weird
Yeah,
it's a super weird decision. And I believe that is This Week in Bullshit.
that's good enough.
Sorry that it was a one-note thing this week.
That's good enough, though. I had fun.
We
took
do have a limit on our time for this.
Exactly. We took the allotted time because we could make this a show, and it's no longer Rage Across the Internet.
Could. It's Rage Across the Marvel Universe.
Porter versus the Marvel Universe, right? That could be an episode. I'll unfuck it and show you how and why.
Nicely done, though.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
I can make She-Hulk good. 2 words. John Byrne. Okay. But back to Werewolf.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because we had a show.
We
and
have a show.
again, if you were here last week, you would know what today's about.
Yes, we made a promise, and we are relatively good about keeping those. Not always in a timely fashion. And it's that caveat that does not rule out the Earthblood thing. Because who knows what happens 5 years from now, right? And we didn't say we'd get to it soon.
We said eventually.
And we lied. But
Maybe.
however, today we are discussing the one-off. Mm-hmm. If you've been paying attention, if you've been with us for a while, thank you again. And if you haven't, you can go back. Our Let's Play series has started, or is it next week it starts? Timeverse has got me now.
Next week it starts.
Next week is the first chapter. Yes, because this will be...
next week's first chapter.
Yeah. Next week is the first chapter of our second chronicle. Last week, we did a recap of the first one, so if you don't have the 37 or 40 hours, whatever the fuck it is, to go back and listen, you can hear the gist of the entire chronicle in about 10 minutes,
Yeah.
minus those one-offs,
Great.
of which we kind of did a post-mortem.
Of those.
Yeah.
At the end of
So it
last
was a
episode.
packed episode. It was like 3 sections.
Mm-hmm.
This was good. But we promised we would talk about the one-off itself. And so that's what we're doing today. We're going to talk about what it is, how to do it, get the most of it. And, yes.
I like when you say get the most of it, because I know you as a storyteller, your style, you don't like to run a game unless you have everybody here.
Yeah, I won't do it. All right. Special circumstances.
Special circumstances, yes. And, and only if you have to, again, special circumstance. But when you do a one-off, we can still do the role-playing part of the game, which is arguably the most important of it, without pushing story forward.
Or pushing it in a different way.
No, it's true. And I mean, I was going to say, that's to take a step and say, what is a one-off? It is. It's a usually one-on-one. Doesn't have to be a story that is just, it's character-driven. It doesn't necessarily push forward the main plot. It's the kind of thing where nothing happens. So it's all about the role-playing and the character building. And the thing,
do some of the stuff that you don't really have time to do in game.
exactly. You know, a great example would be when we look at the second part of M's, when we did some gift learning and some interaction with past lives. I actually doubled down. I put those both together because it's fun.
Fantastic. And M, you did awesome on that. I thought that was my favorite part of all the one-offs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was fun. I like doing spirit stuff, but like whenever it comes to like learning gifts or talking to your ancestor spirits, it doesn't always fit with the flow of playing with the large group.
Which is unfortunate, but that's the kind of thing that it's a great opportunity with these one-off games. Because, you know, yeah, it's exactly like Em said. You know, if you get a group of, in this case, 3 people, it's not overly fair or a good use of time to spend a half hour with M having her learn a new gift from a spirit.
Right.
Or haggling with the spirit over fetish creation. Although that, I think, is a larger deal. And if you can even truncate that into a main game, that's probably a good idea. But things like that is as we like to say, radio for one.
Right.
And what you don't want is a situation where the other players in the group are sitting around waiting for the game to be about everyone and not just the one player for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it how many times. It's about the pack. It's not about one person. You're not the hero yourself. The pack is the hero.
Right. It's an ensemble. There's not one star. However, everyone should be getting their chance in the spotlight through a good narrative. And there are things that you need to do, or you should be doing, that do take that kind of time. It's just not fair to do that in a normal game because, again, you want to be mindful and respectful of everybody's time.
Right.
Yeah. Like, for example, if we were, running our game as usual and I wanted to go have Night Fang train, Porter's not going to let me, just go have Night Fang run off screen and just do his training or have everybody sit around as he trains his Kailundo stuff.
No, exactly. The way to handle that would be I'd let you go do that, continue the scene with the other players, and then kind of rush that through and go, we can go over the details of that later in a one-off. We can, find some time, cut an hour or whatever, and just role play that out. But we're not doing that with 2 people waiting.
A lot of times with one-offs for me is I tend to find they're really great for doing downtime stuff as a Garu, because Garu's lives are pretty busy, but there should be those times where they get a chance to, breathe and work on stuff that, once again, aren't immediately the defense of Gaia and or the destruction of the minions of the worm. It's where I've done fetish creation a few times. I've done players interacting with their mentors or having little solo quests.
And again, all of that is important.
Uh-huh.
And again, the using that one-off is the way to do that.
I have not run any one-offs before, but I've played in a game where we did occasionally have one-offs. Sometimes it was just the one person and the storyteller. In this case, the storyteller was Strites. But there were a few times where I guess you could, we referred to them as beach episodes, lovingly towards anime. But
Sure.
the whoever was there that day, because usually it meant 1 or 2 people were gone, we would have kind of a one-off with either just those players, or we would know that the first half would be for me and my character and the second half would be for the other player. And so we'd be able to listen in or maybe contribute to whatever they were doing if they needed any help. And it was kind of fun. One example, I made a fetish in one of those one-offs. The one-off was throughout a course of a while. I think it was over the course of a few months. It was a gap period in between 2 stories. And I, talked to some kinfolk. I talked to some different Garu. I learned some new skills. And I ended up making a cool fetish.
And with fetish creation, I can imagine that should take a little longer. That is a bigger deal.
No, absolutely.
But the way it was plotted, we did it within one setting, but it was throughout the course of a few months where I learned how to make those things and gain those skills and do what the spirit needed me to do.
Right.
That'll be a good episode of the Practical Thirst when we get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Which we'll rehash some old stuff, but too bad because it's my show. It's not good.
We look
Yeah,
back
I
at
mean, I can
Jaeger.
definitely go into more detail for it for that.
Oh, we will.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we will.
No, it
Back
was
at-
a very involved process.
And yeah, we look back at like Jaeger Gorfist and the sword he made. That was months' time forging his own blade, kind of thing. And yeah,
With that helicopter propeller that people still get upset about every now and then. It's like, there's a war spirit in it. Fucking
yeah. Like, well, helicopter
Silver's a
blades are
shit metal for
carbon
weapons.
fiber, and they're not very. But they put a war spirit in.
right.
Tough.
As CJ said, silver's a soft metal.
Right.
War spirit fixes that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's okay, everybody. She's not really a werewolf either.
Oh no!
But no, that kind of thing. Again, it's prime real estate for that. And there's a lot of, there's a lot you can do. You mentioned that you guys used to call them beach episodes. There's also, it also can be known as softball episodes. It's named by, from Chris Claremont. It's, we used to call them overtime in the Virginia games, which wasn't quite the same, but it was similar. So we're bringing it up here.
Yeah.
Is overtime came about when the story was over, but everyone wanted to keep playing.
I was gonna say, but I can imagine if everyone at least wants to gain some information
They just
Or-
wanted to keep role playing.
and just keep role
Yeah,
playing.
we're not, can we keep going? I'm like, well, the story's over. I don't have anything for you to do. Yeah, but we just hang out in the cairn with the NPCs. Okay.
Did that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Or
that's,
maybe you want to have a
everybody's still gathered all
conversation
in
with
one
a
place.
packmate that you weren't able to have a minute ago.
Yes.
yep.
It's one of those things. If you got everybody gathered, might as well make the most of all the time you got because everybody's not leaving right now.
No, exactly. And so like with overtime, and again, it's in the same realm of the one-off. It's a good way to, make the most of that, get some more characterization done, build some relationships between packmates or, members of the Sept. And even like I used to put a rule on it to where you couldn't leave the cairn.
Okay.
But even that kind of fell by the wayside insofar as long as you weren't doing something that would progress a plot.
I was gonna say if it's not
Like
progressing anything.
Yeah, you can go to the diner. We can have a bit where, Shrouded teaches Vidoma Amen how to drive a car.
Cool.
We're going to go
go to the hardware store, pick up some stuff.
Exactly. That happened too. There was a character and it was an overtime. So we'll see if it shows up in a postmortem or not. It's just being based off memory, like
Okay.
when it occurred. But somebody, hit the camping section of a Walmart and put up a fucking tent in the cairn,
Whoa.
right?
Oh.
Just decided they could do that. I don't want to sleep in the puppy pit anymore. I'm going to set up a tent elsewhere in the ground, in the ball.
Wow.
And
Did
that'll be
they-
allowed.
What could they get away with?
Not that.
Nope.
Shockingly.
I can imagine. Nope. They didn't get away with that at all.
The balls on them there, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Is that the Regamesh?
Nope.
Wow, you idiot.
Was someone who prided himself with thinking.
Well, I mean, if it wasn't the Regamesh,
There were other people eventually.
eventually, but
I didn't say when it happened. Fuck off.
no, but I have a pretty good clue.
Don't do that, by the way. Don't just decide that you can build a house or whatever on a cairn,
Not without permission.
even if it's a house with plastic poles and, I don't know, Ninja Turtles on the side.
Fuck yeah.
Talk to the keeper of the land.
Need to clear that with the count. Yep, the keeper of the land, maybe the council of elders at all. Maybe anyone would be a good idea.
Anybody?
Anyone at all.
Yep.
Decide,
Or take your cues from the other people at the Sept.
right? All the none amount of tents that are. Mistakes. But, fun.
I can imagine that. Yeah, that would lead to some more fun conversations after the fact. during those one-offs. Because you're not going to have those during progression of the story itself.
Well, I mean, there's a level that you can, and there's a level that you can't. We can look back to these recent ones that you guys just went through, you know, and how much of some of those kind of heart-to-heart moments with the NPCs would get through. Is it possible? Certainly.
Sure.
But you would really have to... They're manufactured for the one-offs, right? You know, they're written for it because this is the ideal place to do it. It can happen naturally through the course of, you know, regular play, but it's harder to do because, again, you're now keeping track of several characters and you've got a plot. You have shit to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Anytime
can't...
Nathan could have gone and tried finding Falling Leaf to ask him, hey, can you teach me Kylindo? But it might derail whatever we were doing.
No.
Yeah.
That's just a reenactment.
And any time I would try and have any kind of conversation like that with Carter, I wouldn't get the same reactions if I was with the rest of my pack, or if he was with the rest of his pack, or, you know, both things.
Well, and as we know that, you know, a group dynamic changes based on who is in the group.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
add people-
absolutely.
yeah, you know, you add people, you subtract people, shit is different. So yeah, you will get different reactions. And that's important too.
I also don't think that you'll be able to find Falling Leaf in the normal episodes with how often he's getting kidnapped.
That is mean.
That's mean.
I mean,
He was only kidnapped once.
He was
and
hiding the
every
rest of the
time, every time they were trying to look for him.
He wasn't kidnapped. He was hiding from you.
Yeah, I was going to say he was hiding the rest of the time.
He needed a break
he
from the
wasn't hiding
children
from
that were
me.
underfoot constantly. Grandpa, can I have a hard candy? I am not your grandfather. Grampy, can you teach me karate?
Get away from me, child. I don't know who you are. Go find your parents.
I will kick you back to your ancestors.
Another very good use for these one-offs that I found. I like to run my games with like newer players, if not brand new players most times. And with my first group, I made sure they each had a one-off where they basically got the rundown on their auspice from one of the members of the set.
Again, excellent use.
They got some examples how to do it. This led to the you Ragabash only solo mission, which led to Pax Ragabash getting his first actual kill and having to deal with that.
That's a good call.
And the Theurge went to Theurge school for the first time and had to complete a set of tasks. If I remember correctly, it was get a secret from a spirit, or from a shadow, make fire, and then make friends with a hummingbird.
Huh.
She had to do all three of those before she was allowed to eat or sleep.
Oh, I love it.
She was woken up at the ass crack of dawn.
That's funny.
So when you're tired the most and hungry the most.
I love it.
And the fun part was, she didn't know it, but yeah, no, nobody was watching her. She could have taken a nap. She could have gone eat something.
Yeah, but
No, she followed the rules.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
I can't see that kind of
Stuff like
story. I can't see that kind of story happening when you got the entire pack there, though. So that's what makes these one-offs so great.
I mean, and they're not. I mean, you don't have to do them. Obviously, the game can go on without them. But no, they're extremely useful. And again, it's a great way to be able to continue play, even if there's an issue.
Right.
You know, because it doesn't necessarily have to be one person. Like Em mentioned with Strides' games, another shout out to our boy Strides. You know, you could break up that time evenly. You know, which is, I mean, you can do that in game too, or in a regular game, but.
Yeah, while somebody else was having theirs, I would eat my dinner while I was just listening on mute. So they could have their time, but I was kind of still involved in a way that I was hearing it. It was fun that way.
No, and you can even do that with like a duo, like two characters at the same time. But, you know, when it's a situation where you don't want to run without your full group, and you don't want to, it's never ideal, right? Sometimes shit has to happen, and we live in the world, and, you know, you want to value and get the most out of everybody's time. But it's a good way to not have to finagle the plot around, because it's not ideal and no one loves it. The idea of you got, you know, 4 Garu, we're on a mission together, and really we're diving into this fucking hive, and we're going through the depths, and we had to stop because our time was up for the day, and we're meeting back for next game, and somebody's missing. And the scene has continued, 2 seconds have passed in game time, and that person has just vanished. Nope.
I mean,
But what you can do is go
flashback scene
2 days ago.
Yeah.
And fill in something that doesn't progress the plot so that you're not contradicting anything. Maybe you can work that gift that person wanted to buy in, and they learned it here. They just happen to have not used it yet. So now they can have it for the next game. They've had it the whole time. Dummy. They just didn't use it.
It's not a bad way to go. Shit, I remember you did a one-off with Tom. Not for this current, not for wherever guy takes us, but as Crimson Ghost.
But yeah, if you're talking about when he came back, and that was a little bit of a different thing. But this is also a great example.
It wasn't exactly what I was talking about, but that's an even better example.
I don't remember the other one then, so even better.
It was after his grandfather died, but you did the one-off where it was a flashback scene where he's talking to his grandfather before that final battle. I remember because I was here. I wasn't part of the one-off, but I was just kind of listening.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but okay.
It was a long time ago.
But again, when he left, when he had to leave the group and he came back, we did that whole thing there, which was important. And again, this is another great example, right? If you have a character or a player who had to leave for a bit and they return, what happened in that? So you have to factor in that time.
Yes.
So yeah, what we did is we didn't roleplay the whole thing, but I wrote up a synopsis of what he had been doing, and we went over it to fill in the gaps of where Crimson Ghost had been the last 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good way to play catch up with your character before reinserting them into a pack, or playing catch up with a new player or new character, either one that's entering with a pack, to give them some practical experience. We look at like Carly, you know, like we did with Carly. We didn't do a whole lot of work on it. It's something we can revisit later. And that's the beauty thing too. We can always go back and revisit later and build some more of that
There's
up.
plenty of space to add, but also, like, with what we wrote, a lot of what I talked about in character, I ad-libbed based on the notes we wrote.
Perfect.
Yep, right. And there you go. And that also gives you room to ad-lib other scenarios or stories or anecdotes that we can then, if we're so inclined later, help redefine. You know, we set the parameters loosely enough, you know, in terms of these flashback things, that you have wiggle room. You know, nothing is so in stone that there's going to be continuity errors. And again, it lets M, in this case, play a little bit with stuff that happened in the past. And again, obviously, this is largely slice of life stuff. You know, I can't speak for M, but I can speak for me as a storyteller to go, she's not going to tell a story about the time she found a Grand Clave under a rock and now she's got it in her bag the whole time. No, I just said it as an anecdote, so that's true now. So I get to have a Grand Clave now, right? No.
No.
She's not going to try that, and I wouldn't allow that anyway. But
what if she did? She just, every time she goes to use it, she gets hurt. So she just keeps it in her bag.
Well, you just don't let her have it. You go, the character was lying because there's not a Grand Clave in there.
It's just a hand axe. They're just convinced it's a Grand Clave. Oh God, even better.
I was going to say, I think it's just a bunch of straight razors fucking super glued to a pine cone.
Perfect.
Yeah. But definitely, like, we just chatted about what might have transpired to get me from point A to point B, and just a few details within there. I was given like a couple words like Golden Way,
Right.
a couple keywords within there to kind of blend it into the story.
Right. We got you the Waffle House scenario. But even before that, we drummed up your home set, the Cash Money Buffalo,
Yeah, Cash Money Buffalo.
which is amazing.
Yes, it is.
Say it out loud. You love it and you know it.
There had to be a reason for me to leave. We picked up one of those. And where was I going? We established that.
And at the same time, we didn't, make so many things so concrete that M can't go, yeah, there was this pack called the Lamps. I'm just naming things I can see.
I love
Oh
lamp.
man,
And
me
the-
and the lamps really didn't get along. They were way too bright.
Yep. The lamp rays. They're just rays in sunshine, misery. And their leader was called Hack. Stupid fucking Hack. He was a Galliard.
Piss poor one.
All right. But you can do that and go, yeah, these are the Lamplighter pack, and Hex the Worm, their alpha. He was a pretty cool guy. He had this thing though, where he said ain't every 6 words. He'd just find a way, and this was the Galliard, mind you. So
I feel like this is a personal experience story.
I'm making shit up.
I'm just messing.
I ain't know what he's talking about.
Ain't no way that's the thing.
Oh, I hate you both.
I ain't never heard of nothing like that.
Well, it ain't so hard if you ain't so stuck up that you can't find a way to articulate yourself properly.
I hate you too. I hate all of you.
Articulate.
Oh,
Fucking
Articulate.
trophy. Trophy. You're welcome. Articulate. Fuck you.
yes. Yes, it's exactly what I'm saying. Fuck you.
That was beautiful. But see, there you go. You can, patch something together to give like a little anecdote or something to help just build up some of that backstory. Because we have talked
Or a
about
full story. If the character was just gone for a few weeks.
True. Because again, we've talked about this time and time again. You can't, shit happens. Like if you're playing an older Garu, if you're a rank 2 Garu, you had a whole rank full of life experience.
Right.
You have to cover.
Yeah.
If you've been a Garu for 6 months before the game started, you have to know about that 6 months.
Yeah.
If you're gone for a month on a quest for Owl or something,
You got to know what the quest is. You got to know if you succeeded at the quest.
right? You've got to have some answers, not necessarily all of them, but some of them. And you need those one-offs. It's a good way to set some time aside. And this is the thing too, is if you have the schedule, you can work those around your normal gaming schedule. We talk about what do you do, maybe if you have some, you have some people missing for the day. Fuck all that. We do our recording on Sundays.
Uh-huh.
We do our gaming on Sundays. We do our recording on Sundays. If you go to the Discord on a Sunday, you ain't going to find us. We are either recording or recovering from the fact that we've been talking for 6 hours straight. We don't want to hang out. No offense.
It's most Sundays, and we're not there we're not recording every Sunday, but it's most Sundays. So
But we'll fake it and take the day off anyway.
I was going to say, but I've
Usually.
at the very least, at least been editing the day before. So
The point being, though,
yes,
right, is,
Yeah.
that's when we do that shit. I recorded CJ's one-off on like a Monday
right.
and then like a Thursday, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I came over after work one day.
We did it on a Wednesday once.
See?
Yeah, and I've done the one off for me on a Wednesday because I came here right after work.
Right? Em, I think we did yours midweek too, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was like a Thursday.
I think so too. But there you go. Right? You can schedule these things for separate times that are more convenient for everybody, or at least less inconvenient,
Right.
that isn't taking everybody's time on a normal game day.
Yeah, because the only two people that it needs to be convenient for are the storyteller and the person doing the one off.
Right. So, hey, especially with an online game that you don't have to meet face to face. Like you could get off of work and go, hey, like I get off work at 5, I get off work at 6, cool. let's meet at 7 for an hour and a half
Yeah.
and lay this down.
Another instance that this could actually really work, especially if you got your full group together. If, Porter, we all know that as ST, sometimes you ain't feeling it whenever you sit down to try and write. Like, you might be writing up something and it's just not coming, or, like, you'll start the game and, like, not feeling it.
Oh, yeah.
A one-off like this could be a great little audible. With the pack here on Discord, I've had been trying to get them to do downtime stuff to be a little bit of a break, and I originally planned for it to all be everybody got their own individual one-off, but nobody sent me their what they wanted to do for downtime, or if they did send it for downtime, it was like the most basic stuff ever.
Oh.
I had to like actually hunt down a couple of them and say, hey, tell me what you want to do.
Be more specific.
If not, tell me more.
Damn it, Jerry.
And
Is there
then,
a Jerry in their group?
and then eventually I gave him the idea of, okay, we could do it all as a group thing. They really wanted to do that. We got to the day of, I had nothing written.
I don't blame
So-
you. You didn't need it.
But the problem was, we were all gathered here. I had nothing written for their downtime. I had an idea of how I wanted to do things, but I had actually had nothing written for the downtime. We're already here. We're all on Discord. I sit down. All the stuff that I did have, I threw away because it's like, I can't use this. And their one-off session became, and instead of, saying like, yeah, sorry guys, we're going to pack it up and go home. We're not playing this week, even though we're all gathered. We're all right here. We've all made plans or whatnot. Instead, it shifted into the pack creating a shrine for their totem.
Okay. It's
And it
not a
became
bad
this
idea.
little one-off of each one of them doing their own thing, contributing to it, and eventually by the end of it, we made an entire little ceremony that they did. Everybody adding their own part to it, just basically made an entire ritual for them dedicating this, like, hand-carved bear statue to their totem.
That actually inspires me a bit.
Nice.
And I think I'm going to do some tweaking and have you build a statue to Coho Jack. Like a snowman, but it's in the summer, so you're going to use tuna.
God. Oh, it would smell so bad.
That is
Just a Breen special. Life-size Coho Jack
Love to
statue.
We'll keep it in the can, so at least the sunlight can glare off the tin.
Well, that would
cans.
be made of cans, not made of tuna.
Do we get to steal a hat from Professor Hinkle?
Flim Flam.
Yeah, what was his real name? His true name that I invented, not
Flim
the
Flam.
one that Em looked up. Was it Flim Flam?
Flim
Flim
Flam.
Flam.
Okay.
yeah.
His true name.
Oh my
Maybe while we're
God.
there stealing Professor Flimflam's hat, we just go give Herbie the dentist a quick little punch in the mouth. Sure, he'll
Yes.
enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, he might lose a tooth and he'd just be,
It's a win-win.
ooh. Stay out of that office.
It's a win-win.
Ooh, teeth.
That's the one. That's it.
That's it right there.
That's it. That's the wraparound.
Thanks, Em.
You're welcome.
I'll put it right next to ooh feet.
I never said that. That is not what I said.
What
Do
did-
not put words in my mouth.
What did you say?
You have it.
Look how careful she is not to repeat it.
I can
I will say
absolutely
it almost sounded like a dare to press the button.
And it's just looking at them. That's it. I think it's better if it remains a mystery, guys.
It's definitely not a mystery.
We're having fun. It's all that matters.
I can just go on Discord and just hit the button. I sent it to everybody. Or everyone here, at least.
It's on the soundboard is the question.
Not yet, but we
I
can do
meant
it.
for the listeners, it's best if it's a mystery of what I'm talking about.
No, that's fair.
If you're picking up what I'm putting down, Danny.
All right, After Dark. Upcoming $50 tier.
Oh, signed pictures.
Yikes. We're stopping now.
It's a little too far, Danny.
That what Danny said does not have the seal of approval of Rage Across the Internet. Any pervertosity on his part is strictly the work of Daniel Tyson.
Pervosity?
Pervertosity.
Yes.
Perverosity? Okay.
Yeah, Danny Pervertosity.
So I call him
Is that what she
DP.
said?
Deep.
DP Tyson. That's gonna stick.
I gotta go.
Fuck.
I gotta go.
That's gonna stick.
Nope, I'm already gone. I left. Danny is gone.
So back to the subject at hand. You're welcome.
Say we've talked about a lot of like examples of it or why you should do it. Should we maybe get into the house?
What's the thing I want to talk about? Is, yeah, things. Yes. Scenarios we've brought up, examples of when it works, when it's best used, but the things you want to make sure you're doing, and the things you want to make sure you're not doing. Any combat you do in these, especially when it's one-on-one, you want to make sure is fucking minuscule at best. These need to be encounters you'll laugh off the stage. The Gutweiler that I'm faced off against, I know that's a custom Bane, but that's not a threat that you're not gonna get killed by a Gutweiler. Your rolls have to special kind of suck to lose a one-on-one fight with that thing. It's not a combat. It's like a meat. It's not as weak as a meat puppet, but it might as well be. Right? It's not a scrag. This isn't a high-level threat. It's gross and awesome looking, but you're not losing that fight.
Right.
And even then, the purpose there wasn't the fight. It was to practice the gift and have the gift work on the creature.
Yeah, it's. And I get what you're saying, because if something bad were to happen in a fight, you're almost adding story to a later time that you haven't written for yet.
Well, it's what your problem is. It's twofold. Okay, number one, let's say that it was like a pack of Gutweilers.
And I'm alone.
A buffet of Gutweilers, I think would be the term.
Oh my.
Right? And yeah, and M's all alone. Carly's all by herself. Her and her past life, who's just going, oh my God.
Can't you be better?
Right, will you just... Fuck.
Will you just?
What's Hawaiian for fuck off?
I believe that's fuck off. I don't know.
We couldn't add like a ha to it or something?
Fuck off.
Fuck a hoffa? I don't know. I don't
Well, I
know.
used to know a Hawaiian guy. He spoke English.
Well, I'm not... Will you just... No, I'm your past life. Will you just...
I think that's what Hawaiian for fuck off is.
Awesome.
Will you just?
So, we're back to it. It's just Carly there with a buffet of Gutweilers. And she gets killed. Not only have you thrown a wrench in the works of your game,
Yeah.
but you have punished the player for showing up for an extra session. The other side of that is if Carly dispatches the buffet of Gutweilers. I like saying this. She's due some experience.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And now you are rewarding the player for an extra session, giving them an unfair advantage because they are available on Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a double-edged
Not
sword.
everybody can be available like that.
Right. And so, like, the three people of the group who aren't available on Tuesday at 6 p.m. are now screwed because you're getting buffed up by virtue of just having more free time.
Yeah.
It's unfair. So when you're doing this, if any combat you do don't give them experience for it. And because of that, make it baby shit.
Yeah, it's got to be the simplest of anything.
Right. It's not a problem. You're in the Umbra in this spot. There's going to be some Banes. Well, most of them maybe won't attack, or the one or two that does, you're taking them down. There's no biggie. No reason for there to be any positive or negative. It's about the adventure, not about the experience here. And that needs to be known. Because again, you're punishing the other players, you're punishing the player who's there, unfairly rewarding. And I know some of you will be like, well, but I did the combat. Right, but
nobody else did.
Right, and we wouldn't have been here except for this special time we ferreted out.
Yeah.
It's just not fair to everybody.
So if someone's getting some experience points for their one-off, everyone who's also doing a one-off should still be able to get that same opportunity to get said experience points.
Well, I would say don't do that, in that you take the Spider-Man rules. Action is his reward.
Okay, that's better.
What do I get off the one-off? You get the experience of getting to play more. You get the character development. You get the relationship with the mentor or the...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to bond more with the NPC.
Right. What did CJ get from his one-off? He got to hang out with Dodger a little bit. He got to meet Miss Piggy's sister. and he
Let's
got
learn a little bit about Farfor.
yeah, and that was I was going to say, for me, that was the icing, right? Is you got a little personal interaction with Farfor, which no one has done. Because Farfor does not give a fuck about you people.
Right.
Also took out a loan.
It's true. I'm not your papa. You learned about Bernard.
But yeah, no, I can definitely agree about that. The only time that I've given a reward for one-off sort of things that's like XP or anything, it was for the whenever I planned them with the original group of, I made sure every person was getting a one-off. It was all about just scheduling at that point. And most they got was 1 EXP. Outside of the stuff from meeting people, making those connections.
And see, there you go. And it's like Danny said too. If you're gonna do it, like I recommend don't. But if you're gonna, make sure it's equal opportunity. Make sure if CJ could get 5 experience, so could M, so could Danny, despite the fact that Danny only got 1 part to his one-off.
Yep.
Maybe just beating up teenagers is worth more. Or being too chicken shit to beat up.
Whoa. Chicken shit? That's not fair.
You were like, oh no, the 15-year-old in the Scottie Pippen jersey might beat me up. I'm sorry, Ricochet was like, oh no, fucking on.
Oh, come on.
What if I hurt my wrist?
I said it in the other...
My jump shot.
I said it in the other episode. Was it his job to fight, or was it his job to know when it's the right time to fight?
Well, he's an
You're a
Ahram,
guard. Your
and
job is
his
to
buddy was in a fight.
And he was having a good time beating the shit out of kids.
Yeah, he was like 6 or 7 years older than those guys. This is not
And
a fair-
he was having fun. He was having fun. I was letting him do it.
He's a professional killer. You're an amateur killer. So he didn't need your help, but this is funny, so this is happening.
I know. I already took shit from a couple other people. Why didn't you fight? Well,
Do you think it's likely to stop?
and again, and I can only imagine that I hear the same words from Mia herself, but why is that not a good answer? Is it his job to fight, or his job to know when it's a right time to fight?
I mean, you haven't suggested it to any of the characters yet. You're just getting all of our reactions.
It's true. Also, Mia is not your instructor. She is not Whiplash. She is not Falling Leaf. She is not here to give you a pep talk or the secret decision or to teach you to paint the fence or wax a oof.
Wait, how old is your character again?
Mine? 14
Yeah.
and a half.
I've never known a 14-and-a-half-year-old not to join in a fight.
See, Mia's just going to suggest that maybe when his balls drop, that he'll feel different about it,
Oh, that's fair. That's very Mia.
isn't it?
Yes, I know that's what Mia would say. I'm just. Oh, fuck. It was a thought process. Okay.
Hey, you got
was
the
a-
wallets, all right? You stole the money.
It was a thought exercise.
You thief.
I might have overthought the thing.
That doesn't sound like you.
No, of course not. That sounds like me for everything.
But see, again, we're all laughing here, including
Yes.
Danny.
Including
So,
me, yes.
But
Having a good time.
right, that's what we do. But like that is, again, with the experience thing, to get you back to it. You know, in terms of gifts or fetishes, if that's the goal of these sessions, then of course reward them with that. But they've already paid in,
Yes.
you know, so that's a little different. Mind your settings. You know, you don't. It would be fair to to an extent that some of these are bottle episodes. You know, keep to a single. You don't have to. Again, you don't have to. But a lot of times, it's okay to keep to a single location. I believe and it's not. No, it's not entirely true. But the vast majority of part one of Carly's story took place in the cabin, or outside of the cabin. You know, on the cabin grounds.
Yes.
You know, except for that rat ass dream sequence. You know, CJ's part one took place almost entirely in that spot in the woods.
Right.
Or second part didn't, but the entire point of that second part,
Was the normalcy of it.
yeah, was for him to explore Willow's Pass, you know, the island. And that's the other thing too, is keep in mind what you need as a storyteller, what you want to accomplish with these one-offs. And again, I look back to the three of you guys, right? With M, the
I believe you asked me what I wanted to.
I did, but that was in regards to part two, because I knew in part one I wanted this to be about Carly, who at that point was not cemented in is a long-term figure on the island. You know, M as a player is a different story, but Carly
Right.
needed a reason to stay and needed to make the decision as to whether or not she was going to stay. Spoiler alert, she was gonna, because M's here. But that's not, that's not how
I
characters
mean,
work.
I wasn't going to say no, but I also wasn't just going to pretend I was a part of the group immediately. I that didn't feel true to the character.
Exactly. So for me, that goal for part one was to cement that in. And yeah, I did talk to him, and I did ask, you know, I did ask you what you wanted to get out of it, and that's where the second part came from, is the interaction with the past life, the gift, and we did some extra stuff too that has not come up yet, but we talked about spirit affinity.
Yep.
Which is something
Because, you know, I've got some spirit affinity, but that was one of the other things that was an option.
right? And that's something I think will come up in a future Practical Thurge episode. It was something we added on, and it's a concept I started with back in the first Chronicle with Dodger
Oh, okay.
and his affinity for the pigeon spirits.
Right. He's got a thing for pigeons.
We chose my affinity, which is cool.
Yep.
Are you going to reveal that, or are you letting that be part of the game?
That's up to you.
I'll let it come out when it comes out.
All right.
Okay. Surprise
cameras.
for everyone. It's cameras?
Yep. No.
Yep. Spirit affinity cameras.
Yep. Cameras with feet.
That tracks.
And, yep.
Cameras with feet taking pictures of feet.
It's like the the little
There's
chattering
signatures
teeth
involved.
that you wind up.
Chattering teeth.
It's like the chattering teeth that you wind up that you know of, but no one's actually seen in real life. Only it's a camera instead of chattering teeth.
I've seen before.
Yep.
No one but
Take
Danny.
your backpacks.
I can't be the only one ever who's seen chattering teeth.
Statistically, no, but who listens to the show? Quite possibly.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Send in if you've seen chattering teeth before.
It's like an anvil.
I've seen that too.
Well, sure, there's one right there. But
No, I've used one.
Great, but there's one right there. So
That's not the
Why do you have
same.
an anvil?
yes, it is.
Why do you have an anvil?
I got it from my grandfather.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Why does
Okay.
my grandfather have it? I don't know. But he had a... It's not a full-size one. Like, I'm not going to shaw a horse with it. But it's, I guess, the desktop anvil. So if you have to do some shawing on the go or from your home office,
I've used one.
it was inherited.
Yeah. No, I've used a large one like that. It was fucking cool.
Inherited anvil. This is all true, is the thing.
I know, it's funny.
Right? Like, it's literally right there. Like, the chair's blocking it right now.
Because I get to forge my own knife, so I was using it was pretty cool.
It's when you auditioned for Knife for Death.
I did not audition.
No, but it was just fun to say.
It was definitely fun.
They
Yes.
call it Knife for Death.
They-
That's so ridiculous. Okay.
Anyway.
Yes.
Yep.
This is some weekend bullshit. Sorry, guys. Oh my God, where were we? What a tangent. Spirit Affinity.
Spirit Affinity.
Em
Yes.
doesn't want to reveal her spirit affinity.
Which is fair.
I mean, I can if you want me to. But
Again,
I think
he-
it would be fun to do it in character.
That's fine. Absolutely up to you. If you think it's going to be more fun, then sure.
but it's that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's going to be like a huge reveal because it's going to be so mundane, ultimately.
It's so incredibly mundane. It's great.
But that's fine, too.
It's raccoons.
It's not.
Another thing,
It's not.
CJ.
one of the things that I have done with one-offs, I've used them to mixed effects to start hinting at plot points or hinting at stuff that the pack could do. You know, in the whole like idea of I knew the pack was going to talk to each other. I knew they were going to go over some of the stuff that they did. And in my original game, the guy who got the solo mission, you know, he was going with the Ragabashes to raid a nearby fort. And, well, he mentioned it to the pack. Whenever, you know, they eventually got caught and had to start making their way out, one of the members of of Team Ragabash that was never going to be the player got shot in the ass with silver. And the fact that, like, this random guy at a military fort had a silver bullet loaded in his revolver.
It's,
I don't think they ever actually picked up on that.
but is nonetheless a cause for pause.
Oh, you did it.
And again, great foreshadowing. I did something similar with the one-offs.
I'm trying to think if I can pick it up.
I'm not going to tell
I
you.
think I know.
I would love to hear that. If you want to send me a DM that I will look at after we record.
Will do.
So it was definitely during M's one-off.
Well, Em just said she
I've-
had an idea.
I was in my one-off and I've listened to your guys's.
I mean, fair.
I like how you having an idea correlates to it's only an M's according to Danny World.
But I will also point to one little fact, one little detail about that one-off. I mentioned the guy got shot with silver. Yes, that did. You know, that was supposed to spark some alarms, spark some curiosity and questions being asked. And there's a reason why I specified it would never be the player who got shot. It was always one of the NPCs. I always picked one of the NPCs. And they got put into a bad way, and it was part of the urgency of why everybody needed to get out quick. Because I kind of, once again, these were brand new players. This was their first time playing Werewolf. I wanted to start like putting in that little seed of idea of, you know, hey, if Silver gets involved, it's a bad time.
Uh-huh.
It was kind of help show the stakes. It never actually clicked until one of the players actually got shot with silver and then apparently talked to Porter afterwards and was told, yeah, no, you almost died.
I hate to do that for a group. I'll keep this quick because not related, but a little bit related. To emphasize the danger of silver to people who weren't taking it seriously, I had them do a non-canon duel. One of them they both had claves. Like one of them had a clave, but for the purposes of the thing, I gave them both claves. So yeah, we'll have a duel. We'll have a duel. The first hit. First hit was fatal.
First hit date.
They're like, oh my god! I'm like, yeah, give me your sheet. And they freaked out for a second. I'm like, no, not really. But you understand now that we're not,
Yeah, stop fucking around when they're silver.
right? Like maybe you have a bit too nonchalant about. But see, and this is where to bring this back. See, I would be careful about when you're just doing a one-on-one, imparting that kind of lesson, unless it's that particular player who's having trouble learning that lesson. Because you don't want to send an important message like that to just one person.
Right, because now you have to count on that one person to portray their message to the rest of the pack.
Right.
And you have to trust them to do that.
Or you have to keep doing it again for everybody.
Yikes.
Neither one is ideal.
No.
And this is where this was my first set of games. So yeah, this was first year CJ storytelling.
Which,
and yeah, no, I agree, but
no shame in that at all.
Yeah, I did know the player would be very vocal about it because he plays the paranoid character very well. He likes sharing information with his pack, even if they don't want it.
That's fun. A paranoid character.
I'd say I don't know what that's like, but I'm.
That's why I was laughing, and I was like, you don't know what it's like? I'm just going to shut up then.
I don't know. I got a paranoid player. It's worse.
What? I don't know what he's talking about.
It's like, oh my God, he said the concrete's cracked. Did I step on a crack? Did my mother just die? Fuck.
Oh no, that kid has a doll. Whatever will I do?
That's where it gets fun, though.
Because you can play into it, too.
Oh, I do.
And yes, you do. I know it's funny.
As people will find out, like, next week.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, they'll find out right
Or the
away.
next one. Wherever that landed.
Yeah, well, it's
Doesn't
either,
matter.
it's chapter 1. It's either part 1 or part 2.
Exactly.
But, yep.
It'll be chapter 1. So,
Yeah.
No, it's definitely the
Find
first
out.
part.
or maybe I didn't, and there was something to be concerned about.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Danny's losing sleep tonight.
Yep. Because I have to edit it, so...
Is he fucking with me? Is he not fucking with me? What's going on
No,
here?
I know he's fucking with me.
Well, I need to re-listen to the episode. What did he say exactly? Porter chooses his words very carefully, which is true. But
Yeah, you were notorious for that.
I kind of want to go to Build-A-Bear now.
Oh,
And
Why?
get your address. And get your address.
123 Help Street.
yeah, I was going to say it's 123 Help Street.
But on that note, it's time for this family to be on their way.
That's good, yeah.
I couldn't. I'm looking at the time. I'm like, nah, we can.
That's good enough,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's time for this family to be on their way. So, CJM, thanks for being with us as usual.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us, man.
Danny, I can
Kick me out now?
unlock your shackle in a minute.
And then kick me out?
Yeah, and so you can leave.
Okay.
No, but for real, thank you for joining us, and we hope that helps you put together some of your own, give you some ideas for future ones. But it is our time, so make sure to come back next week for the Chronicle opener.
Yeah.
What up? Finally, by the way.
Yay.
Right?
Yeah, we're all excited for it.
We are. In the meantime, however, make sure to take care of yourselves, take care of each other, keep your claws sharp, your head in a swivel. See ya.
Ooh, teeth.